Hi, my name is Bob Poulter, and this is Jen Pokraka, and we've got Lauren and Libby with us today. And we're here to put together a little tape for parents who want to learn some simple skills that they can do in the backyard with their players during the summer so that their players can get better. Hopefully some of the things that we're going to show you in this little video will give you some good cues to use with your child and to help them become better volleyball players. So one of the questions I get asked all the time are, what are some basic skills that we can do to help players get better during the off season? And a skill that transfers to just about is throwing a ball. So we're going to work on a couple of things. This is Lauren. She's on the 12s team here at the Front Range Volleyball Club. And we're going to work on really opening our hips, stepping with the opposite foot, and throwing the ball. A couple of things that I'm going to key on while doing this to translate into volleyball skills is the hips opening, stepping with the opposite foot, and closing the hips. And then I'm going to look at the elbow, and we want it to stay in this position, and when she throws, to come over and make almost like a same motion she would hitting or serving a ball. So again, as something that we can do as parents on the off season with our players, ball and a glove, teaching them to play catch. This is really going to transfer into a lot of things that we do in volleyball, and not just in volleyball, but almost any sport that you do is going to have this motion of the hips involved and the motion of the arm. So as we watch Lauren throwing the ball, we're going to key in on her hips right now. So she's stepping with the opposite foot of the throwing hand, and her hips are opening towards the net and then closing as she throws. And if we watch her feet, she's actually stepping towards the target. And this is going to transfer into a lot of the things that we do with attacking and with serving. Now if we look at her arm, we're trying to keep her elbow across her shoulders, almost in a tennis-like serving motion. As you can see here when she throws, we're not really concerned about the elbow being way high over the head, but leading with the elbow as she throws. And again, this is going to transfer to attacking and serving in volleyball. So another skill that we can work on with our kids at home is setting. Setting is a very technical position where players need a lot of reps. So if you can get extra reps at home, it's going to help. Here are some of the things that we're going to key on. We've got our two players here, Lauren and Libby again. And the first thing we're going to look at is the ball. And on the ball, where we're going to place our fingers. We want to kind of form this triangle in here, and we use this panel on the ball right here to kind of help the kids, to give them a good idea of where they should put their hands. So we're going to put our index finger on each side and our thumb on each side. And then we want our players to have what we call big and firm hands. So that's something you want to look at. So we don't want their hands real close together like this. We want them nice, big and firm, just like this. And all the pads of their fingertips are touching the ball. Their palms are not touching the ball. So we have a little opening right there. Okay, both of them are doing a good job there. So turn around and we'll get on the wall. We're going to look at their feet here real quick. And I just want to make sure that their feet are staggered. We want the right foot in front of the left foot when we do any type of wall work. We want both knees slightly bent. Both knees slightly bent. There we go. And then we want them to reach as high as they can on the wall with the ball, with their hands nice and comfortable, just like that. So they have really good form right there. They're reaching nice and high. And then we're going to start real slow, where they're just going to bounce it off the wall and catch it. Bounce it off the wall and catch it. So some of the keys we want to look at while they're doing this, as they bounce it off the wall and come back, are all the pads of their fingers staying on the ball? Are they staying pretty true to this line right here? And we use the cue wrinkly wrists. because we want everything done with their wrists, not with their elbows. So their wrists are back, gets these wrinkles in here, and you can see they're both doing a good job using just their wrist. So if you had a player that was having a hard time and they were using a lot of elbow, I could get behind them just like this and hold their elbows and have them just use their wrists so they get used to using their wrists as they're doing this drill. Wall work is important for players. It's going to help them get a lot of touches on the ball in a short amount of time. So if you have a wall in your garage that they can use, we want to get them going. And then as they get better at this, and Lauren's been doing this for a while now, go a little faster, you can see that their hands start getting nice and soft and they can do this really fast. Now setters are always going to take the ball at different angles, so as they get better at this, we want them to do what we call quarter turns. So now she's going to turn a quarter, and then they're going to go back to center, and then they'll go corner the other way, reaching high still. That ball's dropping. There you go, good. Always focusing on keeping that ball nice and high as they're making this move. This way their hands get used to taking the ball in different angles. So now we're going to incorporate some footwork into our setting, and as we go through this, a couple of key things to look at as you're training new players. We want them to be in a good posture, so the knees bent, chest up nice and high, and as they make this footwork move, they're just going to step left, right is the main move. So as the ball comes into them, they should be stepping left, right to make contact with the ball. So if we watch their foot, we're going to step left, but then their right foot is very important to step and point to the target. So give us a try here. Left, right, very good. Go again. You can see they're stepping and their right toe is pointing to the target that they want in the direction they want the ball to go to. This is turning their hips, their shoulders, and their knees. Everything is going to follow to the target, which is going to be a nice square up so that we can get the ball there. So that's good movement there. So let's go. Good. Let's try one like almost game-like. Ready? Moving your feet and go. Good. Okay. Good. So now we've incorporated a little bit of the dance into it. We got their feet moving and they're stepping that left, right, and that toe is pointing to the target where they want the ball to go. So the next movement in our progression of setting now is going to be to actually move and get our body to the ball. It is very important to get our head underneath the ball so that we can make this move and get in the best possible position to set a ball. We don't want the ball way out here in front of us. I don't want to try not to take it here. I want to try and get my head directly underneath the ball. So we're going to use these two products here in this drill. This is just an ultra light volleyball. It's super light, almost like a balloon. And then we have a Nerf ball that you could use for this concept as well. So the girls are going to make the same move now. They're going to use their left, right. They're going to get their head directly under the ball. They're going to step to the target, and they're going to get their head directly under the ball and let it hit them in the head. This is going to help train to get their body in the proper position for set. So in this drill, some of the things we want to key on are they getting to the ball without ducking into the ball. Like Libby, that was a nice job getting your head directly into the ball, but if we looked at her feet, she really didn't square up. So those are some of the things we want to take from the first drill and start incorporating it here. Lauren, that was a good move. Stepping left, right, toe, good. That time Libby squared up really well. Lauren's under the ball real well, squared up. Looks really good, guys. Good. Still get that toe pointed to the target. Toe to the target. Really good. So as these balls are coming in, some of the keys again are the toe pointing out, stepping left, right, and bend like you're reaching forward to get this ball. With your head. Reach. Is she reaching like this to get the ball, or was she directly underneath the ball and it bounced off their head? Those are going to be the keys to look at in this next step. So the next step in setting now is to take our wall work that we did, our footwork that we did, and getting our head under the ball and squaring up and putting it together into a live drill. When you break things down step by step, it's a lot easier for new players to learn things than to just say, here's how you set, and to throw a ball at them. So we've broken some of the movement down, and now we want to put all those movements together. So here's a drill that you can do in your backyard. You don't even need a net. All you need is one ball, and if you can get 3 people, it works out really well. So Libby, you're going to come out here and be the target. Lauren is going to make the move right now. We're going to let her make the move 5 times, and then the 2 of them are going to switch. Okay, so I'm going to toss the ball to Lauren. She's going to do her footwork. She's going to get big and firm hands underneath it. She's going to reach high. She's going to make her set out to Libby. Libby's going to bounce the ball back to me, and we're going to keep working. 5, and then you 2 are going to rotate. So she gets under the ball. She's squared up. Good set right there. And you can move the ball around once they get a little better. But right now I'm making it nice and easy by a nice high toss so she has time to get under the ball and actually make the move so that she can see what it feels like without being pressured in a game. Stepping left, right, squaring up, looks real good. Reaching the ball high and head underneath the ball. Good job. Good job. Good, nice footwork, head under the ball, reaching high, big and firm hands, very good. So as a wrap up for setting, we're in the backyard where we want to give our players some good tips on setting. We want to make sure they have big and firm hands, pads of their fingers touching the ball, platform on the ball with that stripe, using our index finger and our thumb, a little bit of wall work. And then, very important, the posture, tall, but bent knees and loaded. And we're stepping left, right, with the right foot pointing towards the target. Contacting the ball high over our head like we did with the drill, with the ball hitting our head, and getting underneath it. And making a nice firm contact with the ball. Those skills all together, working on those during the summer, are going to help progress your player to be much better in the fall. So the next skill we want to work on is passing. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the platform that the players make. So go ahead and make your platform. So you can see Libby here makes her platform, and she's got her thumbs laying next to each other, which is really good, what we want. We want the heels of the palm matching up here, and then she makes a nice platform here. And the way we help players get that nice and flat is to push their wrists down. So that creates a nice flat platform. Some of the keys you want to look for not to do. Crossing your thumbs. We don't want our thumbs crossed at all. Interlocking our fingers. Okay, we don't want players interlocking their fingers. Hold the hands in here like this. The easiest way is to think about it as getting a drink from a hose. Most kids probably don't know that, but us older parents will know that. Getting a drink from a hose, you hold your hand out like this. We place them flat into each other. Thumbs go flat, wrist goes down. Creates a nice platform here. We want to make sure players don't swing from their elbows. We want to make sure they're swinging from their shoulders. So we call it a shoulder shrug. All kids know how to say, I don't know, and shrug their shoulders. So that's what we work on. Another thing we talk about are passing eyes. When we do that, we make marks on our players. So she's got an eyeball here, an eyeball here, an eyeball here, an eyeball here. And then if you have some tape, some white tape works really well to help them learn how to get in the right position for passing. So I'm going to take a strip of tape and put a dot here and a dot here on her shoulders. And we're going to put 2 more on her knees. And then I'm going to have Libby put 2 more pieces right on your hips. Right here. There you go, there. And there. We call these their passing eyes. So as they make their platform now, and you can see she's staying tall here. Want to be able to see their logo if they have a logo on their t-shirt. There's no sport that teaches anybody to pass or do any type of athletic thing like this. Okay, so we want them nice and high like this. Knees are bent. You can see that her hamstrings are loaded, her quads are loaded, and her glutes are probably loaded. Her feet are a little bit wider than her shoulders, and she's got her weight on the balls of her feet. This is a pretty good passing position right here. And then we have all of her eyes, and her eyes, as she's moving, are going to go to wherever the target is in our next step. So as we make our platform now and our passing eyes, we want to talk about where contact should be made with the ball. So as we're working with our players in the backyard, we have zones. This is zone 1, wrists to fingertips. Zone 2, wrist to elbow. Zone 3, elbow to the top of the shoulders. We want to talk to our players about passing at about 2.5, somewhere right in here. Most new players are going to try and pass it off their hands all the time. So if we push their wrists out of the way, that's going to help them learn to pass it right here. Now, some things that you have to learn about with new players is you're going to hear them say this area is going to get sore. That's natural, and it does go away, and the more they start passing, the less they're going to have that. So our next step is to actually try and work on the motion. So Libby's going to get in her passing stance again, and again we have all of her eyes ready to go. A big key you want to work on when you're passing is they don't stand with their hands together. Hold that for a second for me. We don't want to see athletes running around like this. Okay? We want to see athletes in a good position move to the ball, then put their platform together and pass. So we always have players start with their hands apart. So I'm going to get about 10 feet away from Libby. I'm going to give her a nice high toss in front of her. She's not going to have to move too much for this ball, and then she's going to pass it back to me. So again, some of the keys you're going to look at: not interlocking our fingers, not crossing our thumbs, platform out, wrists down, and passing it at about 2.5. Good. Good. So now the next step, after you feel like they're getting that down really well, and their wrist is good, their hands aren't interlocking, you got everything down there, is we want them to constantly move their feet now. So as the ball comes, even if the ball is right at you, we want them to shuffle their feet as the ball comes. Okay? There, good shuffle, nice. That's it, good contact. That's it, good contact that time. Good footwork, nice. And you can see Libby is keeping her chest up. She's not dropping it down. I can see her logo the whole time. And she's getting right underneath the ball. So that's a really good job by Libby. Nice job here. So now our next progression is going to be to get her moving, because the ball's not always going to come right to us like a lot of players think. We actually have to move and go get the ball. So some of the key things you're going to work on. I'm not going to toss it too far out right now because we're just working in the backyard trying to get better. So just a couple of feet this way, a couple of feet this way. Libby is going to shuffle her feet. Okay, we don't want to see her cross her feet. We want to see her shuffle her feet. So she's going to shuffle her feet, and then she's going to keep all of her passing eyes on me. I'm the target where the ball wants to go. She's going to get around it, pass the ball, and then she's going to come back to center, and then I'm going to move her this way back to center. So just a little bit to the side. You can see all her passing eyes get right on me. Good job. She's shuffling, not crossing her feet. Doing a really good job here. Good. Passes are nice and high. Good. There we go. Get that ball right into your 2.5 zone. There you go. Good. And all her eyes are right on me. Nice job.
Okay, we're here to talk about serving. We're also going to incorporate some of the throwing mechanics that we talked about earlier with the elbow, with the open and closed. With serving, what we're looking for is for her to start open with her feet facing that direction. All of her weight will be on her back foot. For a right-handed player, the ball should be placed into their left hand. When she tosses, we're looking for an elbow that is bent just slightly. We're looking for her elbow back here to be open and above her shoulder. Starting with her weight forward, then the next thing, her weight back, excuse me. The next thing that we're looking for is for her to toss. When she tosses, she keeps her elbow bent. She's going to raise her palm straight towards the sky. When she does that, she's going to weight transfer from her back foot to her front foot, opening her front foot up and facing to where her target is. With this motion, so go ahead and do one for me. We put a target down on the ground. We want that target, the ball to fall down on the target. You can use a towel or a frisbee. You can grab the ball. Towel or a frisbee. We want that target to be just slightly out in front of where the ball would come down in front of her shoulder. Okay, so back in. When she does this also, what we're looking for is for when she's open to the wall or to the yard over here, she's going to close and face straight ahead. So when she tosses, slightly bent elbow, straight up, she's going to try and get the ball back down onto the target again with a weight transfer from back to front. Just like that. With this also, what we're looking for, we don't want to toss it's too high. So we're looking for a rhythm with our serve. We're looking for the weight transfer and the toss to happen at the same time. That'll be a 1 count. The contact would be a 2 count. Don't contact this ball. So when she tosses and weight transfers, that's 1, 2 would be contact. So we're looking for a rhythm right there. If the rhythm is any higher, where it's toss and 1, 2, 3, or 4, that's too slow. We want this to happen in one smooth motion, so we use a 1, 2 count for this serve. So point of emphasis right now, she's going to toss, working on her weight transfer, taking her bent elbow and palm straight up. When she tosses and steps, that's 1. When she would contact, that's 2. Ready? 1, 2. Do it again. 1, 2. So another progression that we can use to work on our serve. Right now I have Lauren with just a small ball. So you can use a tennis ball. What we're looking for is a flat surface, maybe a part of the house or a wall near a park or something like that. She can go through throwing all the mechanics that we worked on earlier, throwing against the wall. So she'll get into her posture, her feet are open. She's still in posture with her arm, with her elbow bent. When she tosses, she's still going to work on just raising her palm. She's going to start open, finish closed with a weight transfer, still to a 1, 2 count. She can do this, go ahead and go. She can do this, throwing against the wall, starting to learn her serve mechanics. So she's got her elbow bent, she's got her weight back, she's open. Her palm is going to raise as if she's tossing a ball. She's going to use a throwing mechanic to simulate the serve right now. She can do this against the wall, ball comes right back to her. What she's looking for in this situation is if a ball comes back too low on her body, she hasn't thrown the ball high enough. So her serve would be too low to make it over the net. Go ahead and go. She does her toss, 1, 2 count, ball coming back off the wall above or beyond her head so that she can simulate that serving action. Weight transfer, 1, 2. So as you can see, everything we start with, a lot of it, our serving mechanic starts with throwing. After Lauren's thrown a bunch, then we can move on to actually doing the same thing now with a serve. She's in the same posture, feet are open, weight is back, elbows bent. She's going to raise her palm up. Now she's going to go serve against a wall in the backyard, against the house, and she's going to try and get the ball to come back about her head height or over it. She's using her 1, 2 count, just like that. She lines up again, weight transfer, 1, 2. We want to try and get that ball just a little bit higher. Transfer, 1, 2. That's a good one right there. That's how we want the ball to come off, just like we would want to serve to go over the net. That's the flight that we would be looking for. 1, 2. Good. Okay, to wrap up serving, what we're looking for. If Lauren was serving against this wall right over to our left, she would be open to this direction. Her elbow is back and it is up, shoulder height or a little bit above. On her tossing arm, we're looking for a little bit of bend in our elbow, a flat palm, so when she tosses, she's going to raise that palm straight up. When she tosses, we're looking for a weight transfer from her back foot to her front foot. With that, that's a part of our rhythm that's 1, 2. So when she tosses, she's going to toss, step, that's 1. Go ahead and do that. 1. Then when she would contact, that would be 2. So with attacking, we're going to go back to some throwing motion. And just to key in on, we use a lot of throwing for attacking and serving technique. This helps guide our elbow. This helps guide where we want our arm swing to go. Okay, so as we're going to go into throwing, we're going to key in on these players getting into their line. We're looking for their left arm up and in front. We're looking for an elbow that's about shoulder width height, and their chest is open. We want a big stretch in their chest. The next mechanic, from this position in our line, they're both going to go high elbow so that their elbow is next to their head. Bring that in tighter, Libby. Yeah, just like that. So with this position, we go from our line. Now their elbow is in next to their head. Their hand is going to throw up over the top of the ball. This is the throwing mechanic that we're looking for with our attacking arm swing. The other thing that you'll notice, go back into your line. Both of them, same as everything else, are starting everything open to where they're at. With their high elbow and hand going over the top, they're closing their body posture from where they were. So in the backyard, something that we can do to work on our attacking arm swing, we can throw with our athlete. We're about 20 feet apart, 25 feet apart. Lauren's going to go into her line. She's going to concentrate on her body staying open. She's going to keep this elbow up a little bit high. When she starts her arm swing, she's then going to throw going high elbow and her hand going up over the top. Finish really high for me. So all we're going to do with our athlete is throw in the backyard. We're keying in on chest being open, a big stretch. She's got a big stretch, then her elbow's going to go high and her hand goes up over the top. So she goes up in her line, she's got a big stretch, elbow about shoulder height, then it's going to go high next to her head, hand goes up over the top. This is the throwing mechanic that we're looking for. Same with all the other throwing that we've done so far for serving and attacking. She's going to start open. After she throws and finishes high, she's going to close to face right where she's throwing the ball. So now we have a ball that we have our athletes, and what we can do is they can have them self-toss. They're going to work on getting into their line, and they're going to work on hitting the ball back to us. They're still keying in on the same thing. Open before they start. That elbow getting about shoulder width into their line. They're also working at their elbow, then going high next to their head, and their hand going over the top as they contact. Go ahead and go. So she tosses in her line, elbow goes up over. In the backyard, we probably won't be able to hit a ball down and get it to bounce, so we can just have our athlete hit a ball right at us and we can just play catch almost. The next part of the progression with our attacking is getting into doing our approach footwork. We're going to start with just the last 2 steps of our approach. What Lauren's going to work on is she is on her left foot right now for a 3-step approach. That is her first step. She's got a nice lean, chest is up. She's going to lean into this. The next thing that she's going to do is make a heel strike with her right foot and then bring her left toe around, which opens her up. This would be where we would open up, get it, and be able to get into our arm swing. So she's going to do a couple, do them live. So she's left foot down, first step of our approach, leans in, heel strike. Do you want her to jump up, Jim? So go ahead and jump and get in your line. So with this, she's going to heel strike. You're killing me, Smalls. She's going to lean forward, chest up, heel strike. She's going to open up. This is where she would jump and get into that arm swing that we just worked on. Her elbow's here, guide hand is out. Do 2 more for me. Yeah. No, do 2 more just like that. She leans in. The key on this is getting her into this open position, so we want to make sure that her left toe gets all the way around and faces back to that open position. Toes up. Now do full swing. So the next progression, as she gets in and she's got that foot open, she's going to lean in, last 2 steps. Now she's going to go in and fully swing. Finish high. When she does this, she's going to be open, but finish on her arm swing and close off the same as we were when we were throwing in our arm swing. Her key is on this, getting that left toe around, and then rotating her hips around in the air. After that progression, she can get a ball. She can do this where she's doing her approach, attacking and throwing over to one of the parents who are over helping her. Same thing, she's got her left foot forward, she's upright. Last 2 steps, she's jumping up and throwing. You can see that Lauren's doing a very good job of getting her left toe around, which is getting her open, and then rotating her hips and finishing close to her target. She leans in, adjusts her last 2 steps, jumps up and throws to her target. Okay, to wrap up attacking, things that we're looking for. With our arm swing, the girls are going to get into their line. There's going to be a big stretch in their chest. We're looking for an elbow that's about shoulder width or shoulder height. We're looking for a hand out in front. When they start their arm swing, we're then looking for their elbow to go high next to their head and their hand to go up over the top. That's a couple keys that we're looking for on arm swings with our approach, or arm swings with our attack. For our approach, things that we're looking for is getting open to our target. She's going to start with her weight forward, leaning in. Last 2 steps, she's going to heel strike. Her toe gets around. That's going to open her up the same as what we were doing when we were throwing with our arm swing and with our warm up. The key in on that is to get that toe around. When she does her arm swing, that's going to close her off and rotate her shoulder. As a wrap up, going over some of the skills that we keyed in on today, passing, setting, movement, defense, attacking, most importantly, throwing in the backyard with your athlete. A key that you can do is make sure that you're speaking with your athlete and asking questions about what they're working on in practice. Your daughter or your son will be able to give you information that their coaches are giving them in practice that you can take in the backyard and use maybe some of these helpful hints that we've given you to use to help your athlete's development.